welcome everyone to the Lenox Select Board meeting on Wednesday, November 6th. We met at 5 o'clock in executive session, which I'll explain, and we are now reconvening the open portion of the meeting at 6 p.m. to continue with the rest of our agenda. Sitting to my left is the soon-to-be town manager for Lenox, Jay Green. As part of the process of having selected him, we met to review and deliberate on his contract. That is a protected item under executive session. We've done that. However, we have to, if we execute his contract, sign the contract in the public forum. So the notes have been taken. They'll be provided to Dina and reviewed by the accountant and HR. And with luck, we'll have that for signature at our next meeting, which is the 20th. We'll be able to sign it in open meeting. On board so far?
Is it a public document now?
No.
Think.
It's not even complete.
Final draft has.
We have scribbles and notes. So with that, as part of our open session meeting, in terms of announcements from the chair, the police is hosting a blood drive at St. Anne's Church on November 20th. I believe it's 8:30 to 2:30 p.m. There'll be a bloodmobile there. This is something they've done before. Was in great demand. That's it from announcements.
Yep. And you did say Clarence was...
Oh, I'm sorry. So we have CTSB here recording. Are you live, Diego?
Yes, sir.
Live, and we have Clarence Fanto from the Eagle present as well in terms of the meeting. Do we have anyone here that wants to address us during Citizens' Forum?
Step up, Katie. You got enough fixing it? Yeah.
Hi, Kate McNulty Vaughn, 10 Post Road, and I'm here with a couple of pieces of business that'll be very quick. One is a request for a warrant article for the December 5th special town meeting. We are asking, similar to last year, for 25% of the short-term rental funds, and so I did submit this to the to members. To Smitty today. So we'd like to have both the approval of the Finance Committee, if that's possible, and the Board of Selectmen for that. And then the second thing is that a lot of people are saying, what's up with this home repair funding? Well, what's up is that we're on to the next step. The Lee and Lenox program is soon to be underway. The amount of funding that an individual homeowner can get is up to $70,000 from $50,000, so that's good news. And what it means is if you have already filled out a pre-app, it's time to start getting your documentation together. Do it right now. Remember, this is a zero-interest deferred forgivable loan. It offers a lot of opportunities for all kinds of home repairs. Replacement of failed septic systems, windows, doors, roofs, furnaces, foundation work, handicap accessibility, any building and sanitary code violations. So if you have done a pre-app, or if you haven't, you can still do a pre-app to get in line for this program. Copies of this piece of paper are around town in our brochures, so there's one here at the town hall, also one at the Lenox Library, one at the Lenox Community Center, and we're encouraging you to get a head start on getting this documentation ready, because there will be a drop-dead date when everybody will get an email and a robocall from the project manager, and you can only be at the head of the line if you get your documentation started. So what you're looking to do is to pick up one of the implementation plans from those brochure holders. Even better, you can get a copy of a previous town's information packet and application packet and start looking at the kinds of things you need to get together and do. This, for instance, is one from Egremont. It doesn't matter. If you look in here at the income limits, we have separate and new limit fiscal year '24 income limits for Lenox. Those are available around town. You can know what those are from going to the website or also just checking in to the land use office. You'll want to turn and take a look at the housing rehab documentation checklist right here. Tells you what you need. Start going down that list, checking them off. The other thing, sorry, I'm using the desktop. The other thing that's important for you to think about, again, is to, I had this, hold on a second here, okay. Remember that the key is to fast track, so get all of this together. There's a checklist in here, a place to put the information that you've gotten together, and that will help you get to the front of the line, or at least in the early parts of the line. So I encourage anybody who has done a pre-app to get going on this. There are also the application packets, as I said, are available in the land use office. And Mary Beth, you have anything else to add here? Because she's the expert on this, so I look to her for a lot of help and information. So get going on your documentation if you've got their pre-app in, and still think about doing a pre-app. Don't count yourself out. We have a lot of older homes in the town, and like everybody's home and everybody's person, you know, after 20 or 30 years, you all age and your houses age. So think about this as a source of funding to get some important critical repairs done. So, thank you.
Katie, again, if people need a little assistance, Mary Beth would be more than willing to help, and you, I'm sure, in the land use office is probably the best contact number to get some help.
Yep, and soon enough, the project manager, you know, once that drop dead date comes along, when she'll contact everyone at the same time, so everyone has a fair shot at this, she'll be available to help people. Because there are some really tricky things that you need to inform on this to meet the federal guidelines. So she'll be able to help, you know, lead people through some of those difficult areas too. But again, we're fortunate to have an in-house person here, so thank you, Mary Beth. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Katie.
Totally ripped out. Thank you.
And there is a volleyball tournament going, so
That's right, too, yeah.
thank you.
I go.
You're missing it, yeah. Good.
Anybody else with a comment during citizens open forum? Okay.
Consent agenda?
Yes, small consent.
We only had one thing on the consent agenda tonight, and it's an appointment to appoint Hank Mayman to the Finance Committee, filling a vacancy, and he'll be on there until 2025.
Need to accept the application.
Second.
All in favor?
I just want to say, Hank, thanks for doing this. He's our business manager for a long time in the school department. Good stand-up guy, knows his business, and he'll be a huge help on this, I'm sure.
I learned a lot from him when I was in school committee.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can believe it. How do we, so, we received an open meeting law complaint, which by requirements of the Attorney General's office, shared with the select board members. It concerned the evening on which we made the selection of Jay Green when we were down to 2 applicants. Prior to that, we had conducted interviews of the candidates provided by the screening committee. During that process, we received an open meeting law complaint that was filed with the Attorney General's office that we followed the advice of KP Law to rectify and address. KP Law, we met, we reconducted essentially the meeting and made the selection of Jay Green official under guidance from KP Law on conducting that meeting. There is another letter from that same complainant, and we do not have KP Law's proposed, or we have not had a chance to review KP Law's proposed response to the AG's office. I believe from Dina's emails that KP Law believes that the first response closed the issue, but because we haven't had time to collectively review it, I'm making everybody aware of it again.
Mr. Chairman, the email today said that Mr. Higgins, they agreed to drop the first complaint.
I saw that too.
Yeah, yeah.
But KP Law has not confirmed that Mr. Higgins has dropped the second letter, which is essentially from our packet,
Yeah,
all the same
Same thing.
thing.
yeah.
So we'll just sit on this until the KP Law deal with it if they have to, and hopefully this will just get dropped also. Is that what you're saying?
If it goes the way of the first complaint, that's exactly what should
I don't even
happen.
think there's anything
No.
on the complaint.
These-
Any questions? I mean, I've described it as best as I can.
That's great.
All right. Now we'll address Price Chopper. We don't need to open a public hearing, so folks, please.
Can we address my phone?
Absolutely.
Please do.
I think Diego would like you to.
Good evening, board members. My name is Neil Mooney. I'm an attorney representing Price Chopper Operating Company of Massachusetts, which does business as Market 32 here in Lenox. Accompanying me is the new proposed license manager, Mr. Daniel Jowett. The application for the change of manager, I believe, has been filed and is complete. I spoke with Deanna Garner this morning about that, and she related that to me. Just to briefly go over a little bit about Dan's background that would expand on the information in the application, which is not very extensive. He's the current manager at the Market 32, and he's been in that position for about 6 months. His predecessor, James Collins, retired earlier this year. But Dan has worked for Price Chopper since May of 2022, and prior to coming to Lenox, he worked for the Price Chopper at the Price Chopper in Bennington, Vermont, which also sold alcoholic beverages. And he's also conducted trainings of other store managers for Price Chopper. Prior to joining Price Chopper, Dan worked for Stop and Shop for 17 years, including at stores in Connecticut that sell alcohol. So he's well experienced in retail alcoholic beverages sales and has a solid understanding of safety and compliance issues. And related to that, he's completed alcohol compliance training in Massachusetts and as well as earlier in Vermont. He also has a degree in business administration from the Massachusetts College of Liberal Arts. Price Chopper and I do a lot of these applications in my practice, are confident that he's well qualified and will excel in the role of license manager. And he's here and happy to answer any questions that the board may have. Thank you.
I don't have any questions. I know Deanna's worked on the paperwork, and the paperwork is, it's pretty straightforward, the paperwork. It's all in order.
The one on Pittsfield Lenox Road, I think. I understand that there's hiring signs and, it's the nature of the workforce, but, I typically go through the self-checkout and I see very clearly that, the self-checkout rings, the light goes on and someone's there to confirm and you've got the little red things on the baskets to, so I think it's done well.
Yes, thank you.
So I have confidence that you're going to keep doing a good job.
I can add to that a little bit in that Price Chopper Market 32 has always been a good neighbor to the town of Lenox. I'm a member of the local VFW, and you guys have contributed over the years to our various functions and affairs, and we certainly appreciate it and wish you the best of luck.
Well, thank you.
Okay.
It appears all your paperwork is in good order, and I have nothing but praise for what you guys are doing over there.
Excellent, thank you.
Do we need a motion to approve?
I think we do need a motion to approve, and then we'll, okay, so I'll make a motion, we approve the change of manager for Market 32 in Lenox, and we'll get that signed tomorrow, so it'll be available here in Dean's
Second.
office.
Somebody second that?
All in favor?
Aye.
Smitty, is that the signature?
That is not only the electric.
Okay,
That's the only thing that needs to be
so we'll get that signed for you.
Okay, excellent, appreciate it.
But
Thank you
yes,
very much.
thank you.
Good luck.
Okay, underground utilities near High Street for National Grid.
Step up and tell us what you're doing. Identify yourself too, please.
How you guys doing? I'm the engineer for National Grid, Donald Taggart. I actually have a different petition. It's for High Street. I might be able to answer the questions for the other one that you said underground?
You said it, none of us.
Okay, all right. So I'm here for, on behalf of National Grid, to have a solely owned pole set on High Street. This is a new service near the Veterans Memorial Baseball Field, and we need to get this new house energized. So we need to
Is that what for the new
extend
house is being built right now?
for this petition. Yes, we need to extend a span of secondary overhead wire, and just have a pole set on the front of this new house. And this is for, there's not an address yet, but it is at the moment 0 High Street. So you may be familiar.
It says that's underground utilities. So we'll just need to have her change that to setting a pole.
Setting a pole.
The purpose is the same.
Yeah, it's a Freddie property, right?
Yes,
Or Dickie's building.
it's right across from 38.
Yeah.
Grid to install one SO.
Yeah, based on so.
Yeah, so this new property is right across from 38 on High Street, and we're requesting from Lenox
And the pole's
to
gonna be
Lenox to.
on the corner of, or the ball field driveway and the property?
Yes, it'll be on the homeowner's property, but it'll be on the corner on the right side of that driveway of that baseball field.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I mean, I'm familiar with this site in the area, and it's,
Sure.
it's
Yeah.
it's all
You guys have
pretty-
any questions? I'm
Guys
here
building a
to
house,
answer.
gotta put a pole up, get some
Yeah.
power.
Of course.
Every time I come up from safety, I see that
Yeah.
over to my right as I'm coming up.
So, yeah, yeah. So, all said and done? Yeah. So I'll make a motion that we grant National Grid, and we'll have to clarify with Deanna, we'll have to clarify the language, because it does say underground, but it's for setting a pole for,
Okay, I
Do you have the order number there?
also permission to maintain and
is that because it's going underground from the pole in?
That would be,
I believe this is overhead service drop.
Yeah.
This is overhead service, so when we set that pole in, the customer's gonna have their overhead service going from the pole to their house.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know why it says maintain underground lines.
I'm sure it's a typo.
Yeah, but we can correct the language and,
Yeah, I got confused because I thought we were talking about another job I could probably answer, but yeah. Nope, this is for newly set pole for extending a span of secondary and going from that pole to that customer's house. It will be overhead. So.
so
Guys,
we'll
any
just
questions?
correct the language. I make a motion that we approve of the work, shut the pole in.
Touch base with our secretary too.
Yeah, yeah.
You second? All in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Thank you for your patience,
Thank you.
and we'll get the language fixed.
See you next time.
And you wonder why our public safety, that's the guy.
Yeah. I know, the little piece of paper.
It's not on the agenda. Let's not talk about that.
Yeah, really.
It's just language fix. And we wanted to talk about Kappa Cannabis and the host community agreement.
Yeah, I can talk some about it. We need to sign a new host community agreement with Krishna and Lenox, our only marijuana facility in town. They don't do it, they're a small operation. Very small. But the state's requiring to update their
Host community.
host community agreement.
And
And,
we've waived that.
yeah, Well, we haven't charged them
Or haven't
anything for a long
charged, yeah.
time, so we have to do a little paperwork, but Deanna and I talked to the attorneys and proposed that we just go with the template that's provided. It's a very small operation, very clean and simple, and just move forward with this, just with that template.
Yeah, because otherwise they have to,
It gets
more complicated
more
if we don't
complicated for
renew.
a small business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they've been a fine business there. They haven't bothered anybody. They just do their thing.
So we're not gonna be charging them any community impact fees?
Nope.
Great, okay, sounds good.
We've talked about this before, it's
Yeah.
just, we've kind of kicked the can in
Right.
terms of the actual signing of the agreement, but
Well, there was some discussion whether to make a new agreement or just go with a template. In this case, it's so straightforward. I recommend that we go with the template.
I agree.
okay. Do you want to move that we agree to use the template provided for,
If we need a motion, I'll make a motion that we allow Deanna to, or the town of Lenox to enter into the host community agreement with Krishna, and just on the provided template on the Cannabis Control Commission's website.
Second?
all in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Finally, yeah, so, because there's always 2 pages. Let's talk about the potential warrant articles for the special town meeting. We've previously established special town meeting will be December 5th, 7 PM in the school auditorium as normal.
Is it going to be school auditorium, Smitty, or is it going to be
That
down?
was gonna be down here in the
Well,
auditorium.
I think now that the schools are probably not on it, I think you probably could do it here, but there were some issues about possibly with the ADU generating more interest. Maybe you don't want to go to the high school, but we can do either way. What do you guys recommend?
Well, one thing before we get to that, we're going to meet next on the 20th. FinCom, who also wants to review potential warrant articles, meets at 5:30 on the 20th. We want to kind of be on the same page with FinCom.
Yeah.
So do we want to hold our meeting a little later so FinCom can finish and join us? Or the recommendations to us?
Have their recommendations.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure, I think that's a good idea.
Save us another meeting.
Yeah.
I'll just-
But we should have a little discussion about what items we want on.
Well, let's go through them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that we're hearing, as is typical, individual committees are saying, we think we want to have an article, we think we want to have an article on, we have to review them all. FinCom wants to review them all, and we like when they do that.
I met with the FinCom last week, talked about the 5 potential ones that we've been talking about, so they're fully aware of the 5, and if you approve whatever you want to do tonight, we can get the language tightened up, get the motions made, then it could be a 5-minute meeting with FinCom. They understand where you're coming from for the 5th, so it could be a quickie meeting, or just do it together for 5 minutes, whatever you want to do.
We could have a joint meeting.
Yeah, we could have a joint meeting.
Do you want to talk to Christine and see if she'd be okay with a joint meeting?
Sure. Yep. Yep.
Okay, so,
I think if you cleaned up this list, this was the wish list, and maybe you want to pare it down to what we really want to do, what you really want to do.
have you got a copy of your wish list? Because mine's on my bulletin board at home.
Yep.
We know we want to do the Chapter 90 money for roads. The school has already bowed out and said that they're going to wait till spring.
Yes.
The opioid money transfer, I think that's,
That's housekeeping.
Housekeeping.
It's about $76,000. Yep.
as Kate just told us, they're likely to want to talk about ADUs.
Yep.
What is this one? Why should we put this, the affordable housing one? Is
That-
would that be done now? It should be done this time of year, Mary
Yeah,
Beth?
we did that at this time last year.
So it's an annual?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
this is the
we
time
did
to
it for
do
the
it.
first time last year. We allocated 25% of the short-term rental allocation that was confirmed in August. We're going to do the same thing again this year because it just helps the trust build sort of a bolus of funds moving
Right.
forward. So
And
And this year,
The feeling is keeping it on
at like
this cycle works
25%,
better.
yeah, it does
I mean,
work better.
I'm not worried about the 25%, but
Yeah.
instead of May.
Instead of bringing it to the May town meeting, because those are the CPC allocation amounts and, looking at those projects, that tends to take a little bit more time.
And this housekeeping item is really based on the previous year's hotel motel tax. If you wait until next May, it's really a year and a half.
I get that. We got
So we have all the information we
Yeah,
need.
we
We have the 4,196,000 of total tax, the percentage is 412. I understand that. What I want to clarify is, on our cheat sheet, we have planning board, but Katie was here representing Affordable Housing Trust.
Correct. That's where the money goes. Yeah.
So who's presenting the article then?
I'm sure Katie would do that, or there's somebody from the trust.
Somebody from the planning board will be presenting the ADU information. I don't know if it's going to be Katie or Pam or Tom. It's probably going to be Tom or Katie, I would presume.
And then Katie would do the Affordable Housing Trust one, or you?
Correct. Yeah, it'll probably be Katie.
So the two articles?
Well, one article is for the planning board. The other article is for the Affordable Housing Trust.
Right.
Yeah.
Are they both, they're probably not, they both on that list?
They're different. One of them is,
Yeah, there it
planning
is, right
board
there,
is
yeah, yeah,
presenting
yeah.
the ADU bylaw.
And the
And then there's the transfer of 25% of the short-term rental collection amount.
All right,
for
so we're talking about two different things.
2024, yes,
So Tom or someone on the planning board will present an ADU bylaw,
correct.
which is the one that's most likely to be a discussion.
Without,
Because taking the tax revenue and giving 25% to affordable housing is housekeeping.
That's correct. It's what you did last year, and we have the stuff, it's been certified by the Department
Yes.
of Revenue, so we have a solid number now. And it actually went up this year.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, so let's just review again. Roads, yes. Schools off the table. Opioids, housekeeping. Before I talk about planning board, the Affordable Housing Trust is housekeeping. We have on this cheat sheet, again, planning board ADU discussion, which I think will generate discussion, and we have the GE Special Purpose Stabilization Fund.
Yeah, and that,
Doesn't that feel like?
it might, well, I think that's something we have to do at some point. We just got to make sure the language is correct on that. So we don't, and we don't have to do it now. We don't ever have to do it, really. We're doing it I mean, we really do have to do it, but, I mean,
Yes,
but we need to, it's the money that GE paid us, and we have to set that money so it's in a stabilization account. So it's not just used in the general fund. We went to borrow some money, and it looked like we had too much money. That money is earmarked for certain things, and we have to protect it to make sure it is used for those particular things. And Anna has provided us with language from DOR?
DLS.
DLS?
Yeah, I think
On
it's
how
DLS.
to, how we should set it up. And we just want to make sure, we get it right. We say that we word it the exact way it should be, so it's protected, but it's not impossible to use.
Right, it's just cordoned off so
Because
that
it
it's
may-
for other purposes. The town will always be, the decision makers will always bring this to town meeting to decide how we're going to use these funds. But those funds will be separated from the general funds because they're going to be able to be used for, redevelopment of the Wood Pond area after all the rest of river stuff is done, or for other projects as determined at town meeting.
It's part of protecting it we need a bigger conversation
Right,
to get more opinion when this river cleanup really gets going on what we need to use that money for.
correct.
It's a lot of money, and it can be used for a lot of different things. You can use anything we want it to, but we have to do it the right way. And we haven't had that discussion. We have to have that discussion.
Understood.
That's a different thing, though.
Well, isn't the goal just to protect the money instead of?
Right now, yeah.
That's what we're,
Yes.
I'm taking this in steps,
Yes.
because, as you know, I got asked less than 10 days ago, again,
Yeah.
why am I conflicted from this?
Right.
So the bigger discussion probably, at least for now, I'm not part of.
Right.
But if we take it in steps, the correct way to preserve the money so that we have control of it, being separated from what will obviously generate much town discussion
Right.
about what should be done with it.
Exactly. That's not what we want.
And that's not the intent
And
of
so
this
if
meeting
this,
at all.
Right.
if this article for December 5th can be clear that it's being, we're not opening up the town to what should we do.
Right.
This is just to make sure that the money's protected.
Just get it out there, identify it, keep it there. And then
Right.
we can have a discussion.
And then it helps us so that when we go to USDA
Oh,
to
yeah.
try to get things like, a loan, a low-interest loan for our wastewater treatment plant,
Right.
USDA doesn't look at us and say, look, you have $25 million sitting there. And
Yes,
we're
there
like,
is
that's
that, right.
not for the wastewater treatment plant. That is for these other activities that are centered around the rest of river cleanup. But these funds can also be used for other town priorities, but they're not part of our general fund.
That's exactly right.
Did you say the stabilization account was the recommendation?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a normal DOR, DLS technique, which is nothing more than a town meeting warrant article to create the stabilization account. The money will just go in, be accounted for exactly as you said, and only town meeting can authorize the
Town meeting has to
expenditure.
authorize it to vote on.
Yeah.
Is it two-thirds, Jay, or is it?
No, I think it might be,
It's
great question, I
majority.
think it might be
it's
majority. It should be no different than, it's the same legal construct as the debt service, the debt stabilization account, the EMS equipment stabilization account that the town has. It's the same mechanism.
And if I could just quickly add, I think we talked to Chris Cutchin about this. He thought it'd be good just put it to the general stabilization fund. He thought it would require 2/3 to get it out, which I think would be helpful as well. But it doesn't handcuff the board on what to spend that money on. But it does quiet down some questions that we had from USDA, especially on the wastewater plant, that, oh my God, you got a lot of money. What are you asking us money for? Well, we're going to put it aside here. There's about $800,000 in that general stabilization fund now. It's already been established, so I think it'd be a housekeeping just to transfer that money into that general
Well,
stabilization.
that's what I mean by a discussion. We have to, that's a little different than we were talking.
But that's what Chris was.
Yeah, so
talking
then
about.
we have to make
Yeah.
sure we're doing it the right way.
I agree.
It needs a little more thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. So whether you want to do it for December 5th or have that conversation now, not necessarily today, but in general prior to the 21st when the warrant has to be posted.
Yeah, I mean, we have to talk about it,
Yeah.
yourself and,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
And Anna,
and
yeah.
Anna, definitely Anna's on top of it.
Yeah.
And maybe another discussion with Chris and whoever, Mary Beth, whoever wants to,
Yeah.
we should weigh in on it a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
To make sure we do it the right way.
Yep, yep. But without handcuffing this board and future
I
boards.
fully agree,
Yeah.
and going back to the open meeting law stuff, which I hate to keep harping on, please avoid the serial emails where eventually
Yeah.
arrives at me. Everybody's thought is out there.
Yep.
Yeah, we just handle this business in town.
Absolutely.
Business in town.
All right, so that hopefully will be a housekeeping issue.
Hopefully.
Yes. Hopefully, it's not the correct use of, I hope that it'll be a housekeeping.
Well, you're the chairman, you can handle it.
Thanks, Dave.
You're welcome.
Well, it just has to be explained
That's all.
correctly,
That's all.
and then it's fine. Worst case, it doesn't get voted, well, it stays where it is. And it's not the end of the world either, so.
Speaking of stabilization funds, and I know I'm skipping around here, hadn't we previously thought that because of the number of things that we're creating, that we would hold off on the bridge and culvert repair fund until the spring?
Yeah, we could do that.
That was my opinion, yeah.
Yeah. We've got two bridges, they're in good shape.
Yeah.
Culverts are emergency, that's handled differently by DOT.
Yep.
I mean, really, it's a no-brainer, actually. I mean, it's a brief explanation that makes sense. We established, the issue is how much do we want to put into it to start with. I mean, if you want to do it, it shouldn't take but 5 minutes.
I'd like to see it be part part of our entire budget process, though. Instead of this time of year, putting up, pick a number, $150,000 in there. But wait until spring, when we know what our budget is going to be. We have to look at some of our other stabilization accounts at the same time. Fire truck.
We've got a
maybe
fire
bump
truck
that up.
coming down.
Ambulance, fire truck.
So it all fits into the big picture. And I'd like to see it be part of that.
Okay, I could agree with that, but I also think that if it's on its own and it starts out, everybody wakes up and says, oh yeah, I mean, if we include it in everything else, it kind of gets, just swept under the rug. But if we initiate it and have everybody understand, oh yeah, this makes sense, then we can do it. But I'll go either way. I mean, I'm not locked into either way, so.
I mean, it does, I kind of agree with Dave, it makes a little bit more sense to do it on the off meeting, just because it's
for the
first time, because it highlights why we're doing it. And because, bridges and culverts are kind of in forefront of a lot of people's minds right now, based on what's going on in the county. This might be a good time to just, hey, we're gonna do this because we wanna make sure that we're taking care of our bridges and culverts. And, we're gonna put $100,000 toward it, and this will come up, each year.
It could be, we're gonna explain it no matter whether it's done in the fall or in the spring. Yeah, but it's gonna be.
Let's look holistically at everything we have on the table for December 5th.
Okay.
Bearing in mind that there's a component of town that doesn't like a whole lot of new decisions being made at special town meeting in the fall.
And I agree
We
with that.
have always tried to say there'll be housekeeping things.
And I agree with that. And the major decisions we're making are the ADUs, right, for sure. The other stuff is basically housekeeping. If we add this, we add this. If we don't, we don't. So those aren't major decisions.
Well, let's have Anna prepare language that would be to do this.
Yeah.
Take a look at it. Yeah.
So what's left?
Tri-Town
Tri-Town at
renovation
Stockbridge
and
Town
stuff.
Hall
Yep.
and Library.
Yeah.
I think Tri-Town's doing a great job. They just addressed that.
Yeah.
What was it you just sent? I'm trying to think, was it the thing that Billy mentioned at the library meeting, or was it, this was the illegal discharge from the trailer?
Trailer.
Yeah, they've done a good job.
Other ADU.
Yeah. Was the Tri-Town on that list or move?
The Tri-Town's on here, Tri-Town renovation, Stockbridge Town Hall.
Lee has already agreed to kind of front that money, and at the annual town meeting in May, it would just be pay a leftover bill.
It's not very much money, and I don't really think it warrants being in a town meeting. It's just to help them with their move to their new building.
Yeah, and we're paying a proportional amount based on.
Yeah.
Which we've already established that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay,
So this isn't a warrant at all.
I don't think so.
okay, sounds good. Take that on.
Library.
So this is basically just, basically reallocating money that we've already got set aside and just sort of discussing the fact that this money that was going to be used for the dome room is actually going to be used for emergent repairs in the library that need to take place. And specifically taking the dome down, putting in a false ceiling to protect from anything else dropping down, and looking at other additional repairs with the money that we have.
In a nutshell, it means we appropriated $1 million to redo the dome in the library. We spent about $150,000 on consultants and engineers. Project couldn't happen. Nobody bid it. So there was that money left. We took $250,000 of that 2 years ago, put it into we just transferred it to a library repair fund instead of a dome repair.
So the-
But the first $1 million, that was under purview of the PBC. So there's still almost $600,000 left in there under the purview of the PBC for dome repairs. I could argue either way on this. It could just leave it there and have PBC authorize the repairs we're going to do on it and not do anything.
Okay.
Or if we wanted to take it and just move it to a different account, I could argue that both ways. I don't think it matters one way or the other. We're not ready to we aren't going to be tearing that ceiling down for 6 months anyway.
Right.
You know, we have to engineer that.
Right.
It's not ready to go. We already have $250,000 in the library repair fund to do any kind of, we have a sprinkler system that needs work, different repairs that need work, which is plenty of money to do any of those repairs.
Okay.
So I don't think there's any reason to really take it out.
I agree.
Okay, great. I mean,
It's going to be used for that.
it's going to be used for
It's
the
gonna be used for
library.
it, yeah.
For the.
Yeah, and well, first of all, I think it was productive on Monday when we were there. I apologize for getting there late. I didn't think it was coming that soon, but I think we can see how MHD is really non-responsive and strict. Katie prepared, which is a 20 or 30 page report, and she got a text or an email back.
Two lines.
2 lines.
2 lines.
And so the architects are feeling, well, we have to have MHD approval. And I think there were those of us that were like, let's fix things and ask for permission.
Yeah.
Later.
Well, they basically gave permission, right?
Yeah.
So I asked her again, that's what we want, that's the answer we want to
So-
hear.
Go ahead and do it.
The general thought is, well, the entire concept of what constitutes the best use of the library, preserving its character and all that is a bigger discussion. Let's repair and/or do simple things that we feel have already been allowed by MHD. And then,
But you've got to protect the asset. That's our goal, right?
Right.
yes,
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
right. And so instead of getting stuck waiting for another 6 months turnaround for an approval, let's go do something.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. This is one time I don't mind getting your hand slapped.
Yes.
Right.
I agree.
And then it's just a matter of the, Anna and others, figuring out where the money is. There's money, this is old.
It's there.
It's there,
There's
yeah.
money in some CPC stuff, there's PVC money.
There's plenty of money for now.
There's money
I mean,
to do.
long term, there's going to need more, but
Yes.
for the
Oh, yeah.
the
And
foreseeable
it did
future.
not seem that the consultants, well, they're gonna try. We left them with, please go and see how quickly you could turn around an RFP that's very specific on some repairs. And John Garrity is going to work on repairs that he can just do himself out of his repair budget.
Right.
I mean, every day that you postpone it, it gets worse.
Yes.
I know, yes.
Yeah, the sprinkler system, we're looking at, what was the price?
130 something thousand.
Yeah, it's not to that level where you have to just spec it and do it and get bids.
Have John get on that.
Yeah, the money's there. They need a project.
Yeah.
We need a project.
Yeah,
Very good.
yeah.
And right now, we've got a dome room that we can't use at all, and it's really impacting library services, and we need to get that room back in circulation.
Right.
So
Yeah, whether it's for how they think
it's not
Historically
going to
should be
be
used,
perfect, but it'll
but it'd be
it'll be
open.
useful, yeah.
and safe, and there'll be,
Right.
the other critical factor is egress out of the building, so it's safe.
Yep, all those things. Safety, egress, usefulness.
Yeah. Let's do it.
So this is basically, we want to authorize,
Do we have to?
I don't think we have to.
again, this doesn't feel like a warrant article.
We've got the money.
Yeah, you're not appropriating anything.
So now John can just get going, and the architects can get going, and
Yeah.
So not a warrant article.
I don't think so.
Okay.
They need the project, they need to get it ready to put out to bid, make sure we do have enough money. Now, if it's, don't need any
If
money.
it's gonna somehow reach the level of we need more money, it's gonna be 6 months from now anyway. It's gonna take a while to get all that,
That could be May.
easily, yeah.
That you'll go into a May town meeting with some real hard numbers.
Real hard numbers.
And I think it's much better to demonstrate to the people that you actually use the library and walk by and appreciate it,
Yeah.
that we're doing something there as opposed to waiting for everything to fall into place.
Yeah.
No pun
All
intended.
bad, it falls
No
terribly.
pun intended.
Don't want to end up with Center School.
Okay, that's good.
All right, have you been taking notes on our?
Yeah, can I take that list back? And
You certainly can.
We'll get working on the language now for the warrant articles.
Could have those by next meeting with the finance committee.
So we're, just so I'm clear, are we not doing road and bridge, excuse me, the bridge and culvert?
We're gonna have the language written and we're
We'll have
gonna
that
consider it.
language.
I think we just knocked off,
We just knocked off 3.
we knocked off 3, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no school building project, no
So-
tri-town renovation,
Yep.
no library repair.
Yep, okay. Good.
Given that the ADU discussion's the probably only
Substantive.
substantive one, then I'm fine with that in the road bridge. You have it's under 1,000 just to get
Just to
stabilization
get it started, yeah.
established. We might thereafter make it an annual
Yeah,
target.
great. That sounds good.
So do we want to have it here, or do we want to try to get to school? I mean, it's December, the school could be busy, so if we're going to do it, I suppose we got to try to
We
line
can
it
check
up.
schedules tomorrow, I'll check with
Dina
Glenn.
had already cleared that the school was available on the 5th.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Is the question, do you want to do this, well, or do you want to do it here? I think it's,
I don't
Choice.
think it's probably that crowded.
you know,
I don't either. You get a sense, when is they have any open meeting on the ADU? Are they
I
gonna
can
do a
check with
public
Glenn on
meeting?
that tomorrow and just see if it's even controversial, as Mary Beth
Yeah,
knows.
it's-
The state's coming out with guidelines in February.
It really,
The town's trying to get
what
ahead
they're
of it.
trying to do, what the planning board's trying to do is get our ADU bylaw fixed, because the state is actually looking for input into guidance that they're gonna put out for the rest of the state. So they've been working really hard to get this done, so that we can be a leader in providing that input for ADUs.
So there, that's the electric.
So, that's the idea.
So we've got school reserved, but I think here's fine.
I think so, too.
I'm gonna give you this is all going back. The signatures. So we will meet, our next regular meeting will be
20.
on the 20th, and we're gonna try to do a joint with FinCom.
Have we checked, Kristen?
So do you want to
So-
try to do 5:30?
We anticipate,
Or is 6 better for you guys?
I can do 5:30 or 6. Do we want, I mean, we anticipate it'll be, well, we know it'll be the 20th, and it may be 5:30 if it's a joint with
No, I
FinCom.
don't think the price
I think that finance committee already has it
Stop in and do it.
locked in for 5:30.
It's on the town calendar.
Yeah,
Sometime.
I just had it.
They're not going to stop. It's not improves.
No.
5:30 on Wednesday, November 20th. So we could just ask, post a joint meeting. You want to try to do that?
It's just,
We've got
that stuff, I think you
time.
maybe already have that.
Let's do that.
Okay.
So 5:30 on time?
Yep, and
Yes.
we'll ask for a joint meeting.
Next meeting, 5:30 PM here, November 20th. And we reserved the opportunity to return to executive session if we hadn't concluded our business with Jay, but we did, so I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.